Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This video is taken from a normal game. It is not a double up game. Most of my games in this set have been double up, but this is a solo game that I just did because I had a little extra time on my hand. And in this game, we're going to be looking at a Cavaliers team composition. So we're going to be focusing on the Cavaliers trait in this one. Cavaliers is a trait that's been around since the first half of the set, and in fact has appeared in previous sets as well. I know that this was in set 5, although it functioned a little bit differently back in set 5. So it's a trait that people are generally pretty familiar with, but definitely an interesting trait, and one that you can, I wouldn't say make the core function of your team composition, but can get a lot of value out of in your team regardless. The Cavalier trait is one of basically 3 different frontline traits that operate here in set 7.5, and Cavaliers did increase in prominence here in the second half of the set, just because there's an additional Cavaliers unit in the form of Rel, and because it's a little bit easier to make some of the spatula stuff that's associated with the Cavalier trait. So we will be seeing that in a minute. Obviously, right now I have no Cavaliers on my board, but when you play Cavaliers, you usually are playing one of 3 different team compositions. One of those is Darkflight, because Rel is Cavalier plus Darkflight. One of those is a Ragewing team composition, because Hecarim is Cavalier plus Ragewing. And the third one would typically be Mirage, because Nunu's traits are Mirage plus Cavalier. And this game is going to be heading down the Mirage path out of those 3. I've been having pretty good success at running Mirage boards. A couple of different reasons for that. One reason is the Mirage trait itself is relatively decent. It's not like the strongest team composition overall. In the version of the Teamfight Tactics that I was playing here, the kind of generally seen as the strongest team compositions are some combination of mages, and by the way, this is a mage Namzi in this game, some combination of mages and Zaya and Lagoon are generally seen as being like the most powerful team compositions. All right, here I'm going to start by taking the Orin item. I'm going to take Eternal Winter. If you are unfamiliar with this item, again, the Orin items have been in a couple of different sets by this point, but basically it provides some additional health, and I believe it provides a small amount of additional armor. I do not have the stats here right in front of me. And basically what this does is units that attack the Eternal Winter holder, health, armor, and units that attack the Eternal Winter holder have their attack speed slowed, and I believe after a certain amount of stacks they get stunned for a couple of seconds. So it's a very good frontline tank item, Eternal Winter. So you might be saying, there's no Cavaliers on your board here. You said this is a Cavalier video. Well, we'll get there in time. I had looked around at all the different team compositions, and I was like, there's a couple people playing Lagoon. There are definitely multiple people playing mages. I was like, all right, I have a tier here as one of my starting items. So I think with this tier, I want to go into some kind of AP-based team composition. What are people not playing? And it looked like no one was particularly playing a Mirage-based team composition. So I was like, all right, I think I'm going to go towards Mirage, and I'm going to be looking to play into that version. Just because Deja, I think, will be either uncontested or mostly uncontested in this lobby. So how do you get to Deja? Deja, that's always kind of like the big question is when you're running these team compositions that are based on either a dragon or a carry unit that you're not going to see at the beginning of the game, because Deja is a unit at the 4-cost tier. Deja's a dragon, of course, so she costs 7 gold, but is basically at the 4-cost tier. So how do you get there? Well, someone needs to hold items for Deja, and so I'm going to have Ezreal be my item holder. So even though this board might not look like it's a Mirage board, I'm not playing a single Mirage unit here on my board. I will start picking up some of the Mirage units. I'm going to pick up this Leona, and I also had to sell 2 Sejuanis a little bit earlier. I kind of wish I had held on to them, but I was trying to get gold to level 4. All right, now this is a fight where you're going to see the extreme value of Eternal Winter. See the little frozen like snowflake graphic above all of these other units. They're all having their attack speed slowed by that Eternal Winter on Malphite, and it is just cutting their attack speed to such a ridiculous extent. I was like, all right, well, I don't think I win this round because I have all 1-stars and this person had several 2-stars, but it's going to be close. Twitch, can you do this? Oh, wow, okay. Did not think I had any business winning that round. Again, I had no 2-stars on my board, but somehow I'm able to win that round, and that was the value of Eternal Winter right there. The Ornn objects generally are at their strongest in the early game, and it does make sense why this would be the case. Think about it this way. At the beginning of the game, there are very few items on the board. Like right now, I have the Ornn item, and then I have 3 components. So there's very few items on the board, there's very few units on the board. However, the longer the game goes on, there's more item components in play, there's more units in play, so the value of any one item is less as the game goes on. That's why the Ornn item is really good to take if it's the first augment. It's not nearly so good if it pops up as the second or third augment. I would suggest against picking it if it is your third augment. But and also because if it's the first augment, you can really build a team composition around it. Like in this game, I have the Eternal Winter, so now I know my goal is to build a team composition around Frontline, and that's what's going to make me strong here. So this is another close fight, but I'm able to win again. I did manage to get 1 2-star unit in the Skarner, but still mostly 1-stars here. I also note one other thing. There is a Namzi in my store. I had thought about going and playing Namzi, but I had actually been playing a lot of Namzi games recently, and I decided I will avoid playing Namzi. So the one game where I avoid playing Namzi, sure enough, Namzi shows up in the store on 2-3. So I was like, well, that would have been nice in some of the other games where I was playing Namzi. But I know it's contested. I know there's like 2 or 3 other people who are going to be trying to play Namzi. So I was like, you know what? I've played Namzi a lot. Let's use this normal game as a case to just practice playing a unit that's not Namzi. I've, of course, won all the rounds, so I'm going to be last pick. I wanted the belt, even though it's on a 1 gold unit. I really wanted the belt because it would make Warmogs, and Warmogs plus Eternal Winter would synergize together really nicely. Basically, the Eternal Winter would provide additional armor and additional that humongous attack speed slow, and then Warmogs would give me just insane armor value for the early game. But I do not hit, so instead I'm going to go ahead and play the Nunu. So I took a Nunu out of the store. I'm going to play that unit. And now I can look to put in Nunu and put this other Malphite in. I did have to sell the Malphite, but it was only a 1-star unit, so it's not that valuable. And now I've got a Nunu with the Sunfire Cape and also with Eternal Winter, so that's going to be quite nice. Now, I also realized after this, I probably should look to get the Sejuani in because I'm playing through the Nunu, which means it's more important for me to have Cavalier Trait in than Bruiser Trait. I mean, Bruiser Trait's not bad. It gives extra health to everybody on the team. By the way, I should not have Ezreal and Twitch standing on the same horizontal row. They're actually getting wrecked pretty hard by this Zyra. And then, fortunately, they split up so they're not on the same row. But then watch, Twitch steps up, and then they're both on the same row again. And I was like, oh, that's not great. But the good news is Nunu is, like, unkillable right now. Look at all the true damage he did. That yellow on, or not yellow, the white indicator on the damage dealt bar graph. So I think it's actually better for me to play the Sejuani here and get Cavalier Trait in. There is another Namzi in the store. I'm like, are you kidding me? What the heck? So then I'm going to sell the Sylas because I don't think I'm going to play into Sylas in this game. I don't think I'm going the Mage route. One other thing that happened that was helpful for me is I did hit 2-star Ezreal, and that's nice because Ezreal is going to be the unit that holds Deja items. If you're curious about units that can hold items for Deja, Ezreal is not bad because he actually wants a lot of the same items. Like Archangel's Staff is quite good on him. He uses attack speed items very well. So like Rage Blade is something you very frequently will put on Deja. And Ezreal is great with the Rage Blade. He's going to stack up the additional attack speed with his Swift Shot trait. And he can make great use of that. I mean, you can put like Jeweled Gauntlet, etc. So Ezreal's a pretty good item holder. Karma, also a good item holder. Kaisa, also a good item holder. So there's a number of different units that you can use. In this game, I found Ezreal's, and I had the Twitch in my store, so I'm going to use Ezreal as my Deja item holder. And I'm able to win that round. And it feels like my team was getting progressively stronger and stronger as this stage went on. That's partly because I had the good luck to hit some 2-star units. But also, I think that I did a pretty good job of building this team. Like, I didn't get the Warmogs I wanted off that carousel, but I made Sunfire Cape instead. And, like, I was just able to pivot into another good item. And, like, here there's now... the Rakan in the store is interesting. I'm wondering... I think I might as well just pick this up because that might be a unit I'd want to play. Like, with Leona, that's Guardian Trait, potentially. But it does feel as like I'm probably not going to play the Malphite. I'm already hitting the point in time in the game where Malphite is starting to get outscaled as a unit, so I'm going to look to drop that. All right, while we're on the minion round here, I do want to talk a little bit about the way that you build the Mirage board, because that's what we're heading towards. Of course, there are 7 different versions of Mirage, and each one does have some differences in terms of how they would be built. This one is Duelist Dexterity, which is generally seen as being one of the strongest options for a Mirage board, as I get an Archangel Staff, which I'm very happy to see. So Duelist Dexterity gives you stacking attack speed over the course of the fight. I've got the cheat sheet with me here, so I'll just read the formal description. Duelist Dexterity, Mirage units move faster, attacks grant bonus attack speed up to 10 stacks. At Duelist 2, it's 6% per stack, and then it goes to 12%, 20%, and then ultimately 30% at Duelist 8, or Mirage 8, I should probably say. But that tends to be honestly a bit excessive. You don't really need that much attack speed a lot of the time. Still, it's not bad to have it, certainly. So this is a trait that gives stacking attack speed. Now, right now, the only units that have it are Leona and Nunu, neither of whom makes particularly great use of this trait. But over the course, eventually I will be getting it on units that make better use of it, like Yone, Yasuo, and especially Deja, who makes really good use of the stacking attack speed. So the big question is, what do you want to do in terms of itemization and in terms of like just putting the Mirage team together if you want to make use of the Duelist Dexterity? Remember, it's a stacking benefit. It stacks up over the course of the fight, stacks up to 10 times additional attack speed. Well, because it's a trait that gets its value via stacking, it's a trait that gets stronger the longer the fights go on. Like if the fight goes on for a long time, the units are much more likely to hit that cap of 10 stacks of the Duelist Dexterity. So it's a trait that really benefits from building strong frontline. By the way, here I'm going to get a Cavalier crest, and that's fantastic. Now I can turn one of these units into a Cavalier, and that means we're definitely going to take Skarner out, and I'll put Rakan in because he'll make the Guardian trait with the Leona, and I can just turn him into a Cavalier. Of course, I have other options here. I cannot turn Nunu into a Cavalier because he's already a Cavalier. I can't turn Sejuani into a Cavalier. She's already a Cavalier. The only other option really is Leona, but I would really prefer to put the Cavalier emblem on a unit that I'm going to sell later on. And I don't think Rakan's going to be in this team comp long term, so I'm very content to put it on him because he's going to frontline and because he's going to get sold later on. Anyway, back to the point I was making before. We had that augment pop up. You can see now why this is going to be a Cavalier game because I've got +1 Cavaliers for my augment. The point I was trying to make is because Duelist Dexterity stacks up over the course of a fight, it's very important to have strong frontline because that's what causes you to win the fights. You emphasize tankiness, and then that provides the time for your units to stack up that Duelist Dexterity and get that ramping attack speed. So it's much more important to have strong frontline when this is the Mirage trait than it is with some of the others. Compare it, for example, to Warlord's Honor, which is the Mirage trait that gives additional health and additional ability power. You don't really need frontline quite as much with that trait because you're getting health for free via the trait already. So you don't need to itemize frontline quite as much. It's certainly not bad with that trait, but the priority is not as high. The other one that really benefits, well, there's a couple of others that benefit from really strong frontline. Spell Sword is another one of the Mirage variants. Spell Sword is similar because it's another trait that just scales over the course of the fight. Spell Sword is a Mirage whereby every time your units auto-attack, they gain additional ability power. Again, what do you want when that's the case? You want the fights to drag out, to stall, so you want to build additional frontline with that setup there as well. And the other one is Electrocute. Obviously, Electrocute is you deal damage by people hitting you, so of course you want to be tanky with that as well. That is why I've been emphasizing the defensive itemization a little bit harder than usual in this game. And as soon as I saw that I had the Winter's Edge, that's another reason why I wanted to go in that direction pretty heavily. I really would like to get a Warmogs because I'd love to have Nunu holding the like a Warmogs to go along with the Eternal Winter. That'll make it much easier for him to bite people. And that'll also just synergize with the Winter's, Winter's Edge, Winter's Heart. I can't remember what this item is called, even though I described it earlier in the video. So basically, I'm just winning these fights off of having a really tanky front line right now. Like, Nunu is just not dying against basically anything, and he's winning these fights for me, along with Ezreal with the Archangels. So, yeah, 120 AP from that Archangel staff by the end of the fight. Go, Ezreal. Alrighty, so it's time for another carousel here. Now, I have a... I have a glove and a vest on my bench. So I would love to make something that synergizes with one of these items. I can also just combine the two of them together into a Shroud of Stillness, which would not be a bad option either. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that I wanted is getting grabbed here. Like, I would really like to get this rod for potential Jeweled Gauntlet, but it gets snapped up. And so out of these options here, I can either double up on the gloves, which I really don't want to do. I guess I would make a Thief's Glove maybe with that. Or I can double up on the vests. And the vest would make Bramble Vest, which is not bad. But as I said, I was really hoping I could try to make a Warmogs here. So it's slightly unfortunate. I would have loved to have had like a cloak left over. Then I could have made the Gargoyle Stoneplate, that would have been great. Again, I would have loved a bow. That would be extra attack speed for Deja. I would not have minded, certainly wouldn't have minded the rod. I could have just made jeweled gauntlets, but none of those are options, so oh well. I'm going to take the belt here, and I'm still crossing my fingers that I can get another belt somewhere. I have not gotten any belts from minion rounds thus far. I got a belt off the initial carousel, and then I got another belt off this this third carousel, the stage 3 carousel. So I took belts for the stage 1 carousel and the stage 3 carousel. So I'm definitely leaning in that direction, but I'm hoping that I can get one more, and a Wormogs would be really nice in order to help me with more frontline. All right, well, anyway, I am still winning. I'm full win streak. I've not lost a round yet, and I've been doing what I can to try to accelerate that win streak. You've seen that I've been pushing tempo. That is the aggressive leveling early to try to get more units in. It is absolutely worth it to drop down to 30 gold if that allows me to win a round that I might not otherwise have won. And like, look what it gets me here. It gets me a shop that has an Aurelian Soul and a Shioyu in it. Unfortunately, I really can't play Aurelian Soul. I mean, I guess I could. I do have the Archangel Staff, which is pretty good on Aurelian Soul, but just not the direction I'm looking to go in this game. I'm a little disappointed that that's not a Yasuo or a Bard or a Soraka, all of which would be absolutely amazing. But it rolls as Aurelian Soul instead, so oh well. I definitely could look to pivot in that direction and play into that unit, but I opted not to do so. And because this is set 7.5 and not set 7, Shioyu, as I'm recording this, has not really found a place in the meta in this set. So Shioyu, not the high priority that she would have been in many, many, many patches in the first half of the set. Well, this is a super important round because it is the last round before another minion stage, and if I win this, I will be on full win streak into this minion stage. This is worth an awful lot of gold, so I'm really hoping that I can win this. That Eternal Winter is still providing a ton of benefit. Look at how it's slowing the Namzi here. Namzi actually gets stunned because Namzi had attacked Nunu enough times that the Eternal Winter got like fully stacked up. And yeah, this is another fight we probably should not have won, but we were able to win just because of Eternal Winter doing its thing. So yep, I am going to look to keep leveling here. I'm going to look to level 8, and then on level 8, I'll try to roll down and hit my board. Again, this is very standard leveling timing, nothing fancy or crazy here. But because I'm on such a strong win streak here, I'm going to try to take that advantage and use it economically to try and get to level 8 fast, and then roll down on level 8 and try to put together a level 8 board. So far, I'm also hoping that maybe I'll get lucky with my shops, and maybe I'll hit the 1% for some good unit. I mean, I did just hit 2-star Varus there, which is not terrible, and I'm starting to see some additional units in the store. I've got some Yones here, and then, oh, look at this. I've got Idis in the store, so I definitely want to check out what Idis is. I can try to take out some of these units. Like, I can take out Twitch, which is not that valuable, and, oh, it's Determined Investor. Okay. Now that's a big deal because Determined Investor, if I can get it to transform into Diamond Hands, that would be really big. And I actually have very, very good frontline items here. So I was like, okay, let's put Eternal Winter on this unit, and then I can make Gargoyle Stoneplate. And then I still have a leftover Sunfire Cape as well that I could put on somebody. So I'm going to drop the Nunu. I don't love dropping Nunu here. I do think that probably makes my board weaker, but I'm going to get Idis in here because I want to get this item to transform. If you're unfamiliar with Determined Investor, this item itself basically does nothing, but if it's on a unit that dies 7 times, so you have to have 7 fights where one of your units die, then it will transform into Diamond Hands, which is one of the absolute best items that comes out of Shimmer Scale Trait. So it's a long-term investment. It's not going to do much to make me stronger right away, but if I lose a number of fights, eventually it will turn into Diamond Hands. Diamond Hands basically makes the unit it's on invincible at 2 different points in time. When they drop below 2/3 health, and then when they drop again below 1/3 health, they're invulnerable for 2 seconds, and it has some additional defensive stats on it as well. So it has some really, really nice benefits to it. All right, right here, I don't see anything I like that much. I could opt to reroll, but I was like, you know what? Again, I'm still trying to play like this stall comp so that Duelist Dexterity can get stalled out. Let's just take Exiles, because again, what's that going to do? It's going to provide a shield on units at the start of the fights and stall out the fights to a certain extent. I also have an extra Guardian unit. I have 3 Guardian on my board right now, which is not especially great. So I really should try to get Yone on the board somehow. I could look to just level to 8 early here. I think instead I take out the Leona. Of course, this does then cost me the Mirage trait, so no stacking attack speed for me here. And I do want this Sunfire Cape to be on somebody, so I dump it on Rakan. I probably should just put it on Idis, honestly. Probably should just have put that on Idis. Oh, but oh, I see. The reason I didn't put it on Idis is I want long-term Diamond Hands to be on Idis. If I put the Sunfire Cape on Idis, then Idis can't have that item after it transforms. I'm also doing the little trick whereby you can place the item in every single fight. By the way, once again, I've gotten caught with both Varus and Ezreal in the back row, getting caught by Zyra. That's pretty bad by me. But I'm doing the trick whereby you can place the item at the start of every fight if you remove the unit that has it off your board. So anyway, Idis is super tanky, but like I don't really have much damage right now. The value of an Ezreal is fallen off pretty hard. Like Ezreal, great stage 2, mediocre stage 3, bad stage 4. Like very bad stage 4. A 2-star Ezreal with these items is not going to carry right now. So yeah, as I said, has fallen off pretty good here. Anyway, so I did finally lose rounds. Again, sorry if you're expecting a Mr. 100 game where I win every single round, but that's exceptionally rare. Generally speaking, if you're playing against people that are any good whatsoever, they won't let you get away with doing that. So I won the first 10 rounds. Now I've lost these last 2 rounds. I am okay with sacking these rounds. I mean, I don't love it, but I'm expecting that I will lose some of these rounds because other people are lower on health. They've been rolling down. I'm basically trading some health for econ right here. I'm also trading some health for stacks on this item, Determined Investor. So I'm okay again with losing some of these rounds because it will help me out. Again, once again, by the way, my backline is set up to get hit by Zyra yet again. Zyra is extremely common right now. I really should stop putting my units in position to get killed by Zyra. Again, all my damage is in the back row, and I've been letting them get sniped. All I have to do to stop this is move Varus up 1 row, and then the backline won't get focused. But Ezreal just died to double casting Zyra right there, and that was pretty much it. I had no damage in the fight. So again, Idis is super tanky. Idis lasts forever. I just need to get some actual damage behind Idis. But those last couple fights did not go well. I actually lost 37 health in 3 rounds, which is, yikes. You better figure it out quickly, boy. Better figure things out. In any case, though, I will be able to go level 8 here, and I'll be able to roll down and hopefully put something together. I would take Yasuo if he was on Carousel. There's no Yasuo on Carousel, unfortunately. My top item is the belt. I would love to take the belt, so I'm trying to run over here to get the belt, but oh! I'm not going to get it anyway. Someone else snipes it, so I decide I will take the bow instead. Belt would be for Warmogs, but I can't make use of that. And I do have to start getting items for Deja down the road anyway. So I'm not able to get the belt, but I am able to get a bow. Let's go level 8, and now we need to put our board together. I get very lucky. Deja pops up instantly. By the way, I should also pick up the Hecarim here, but I believe I do not. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm playing a Cavaliers board, so I should pick that up. So now I'm rolling. There's another Deja. Excellent. This time I do remember to pick up the Hecarim. And I'm going to move the Determined Investor off there. So now I really want to find one more Deja if I can. I need one more Mirage unit to get up to 6 Mirage. So we're going to do that. And I managed to get lucky. I hit Deja 2-star very quickly. So that's awesome. And now I've got 6 Mirage in. Unfortunately, I have 3 Guardian in, so I really should drop one of these units. And I believe it's Rakan I need to get out of here. So yeah, I need to drop the Rakan because Rakan's not doing anything now. And that'll also then free up the Cavalier emblem, so then another unit can take it. So once again, Idis tanks forever, but the rest of the team behind Idis is not looking so strong. That said, this board is very strong. This person's already hit 2-star Xayah very quickly. They have an excellent Xayah-based team composition. So Deja did 9,800 damage, but I still end up losing that. They also have Eternal Winter on their board as well, so we've got like these double versions of the same Ornn item, which is pretty amusing. All right, so I'm going to hit 2-star Nunu, and that's good. I will hold these extra Yones, and once again, I'm going to look to replace this. And now I really need to replace the Rakan with something else. That's the unit I need to find a better version of. I'm going to roll here. I'm still looking to see if I can find anything that might be better. The Pantheon's kind of interesting. And then I find a Jace. I was like, okay, that's the unit I want. So I'm going to put in Jace. Jace is just a good generic frontliner. He can be, like, you can play him with different units. I'm also not sure. Oh, I was trying to roll for Idis 2-star. I was like, what am I rolling for here? But I was trying to see if I could hit the last Idis. I'm going to put the Sunfire Cape on Nunu, and now I need to see who I can get this Determined Investor on. So I have spent a fair amount of money here. It looks like Jace is going to be the first to fall, yeah. But I think I finally made my board a good bit stronger. Like, I've been able to get 2-star Nunu, 2-star Deja. I'm close to 2-star Idis, and that was a perfect fight for me. I got my Determined Investor stack, and I was able to win. So I lost a fair bit of health here in Stage 4. I wouldn't say it was like an amazing Stage 4, but I kind of hit what I needed to hit. Now if I can just find one Yasuo or one more Idis, I'll feel very comfortable here. And of course we also have a Radiant item, so let's see what we can get. And oh, Talk about hitting the jackpot. So I get a Rod, which will make Rage Blade on Deja, and I also get the Radiant version of Giant Slayer. So this is just absolutely fantastic for me. Now, again, I don't need quite as much attack speed on this board, on this build, because I already get attack speed that stacks from Duelist Dexterity. So I don't really need this much attack speed necessarily, but these are still good items on Deja regardless. I will get extra ability power over the course of the fight from the Archangel Staff, and the Giant Slayer is going to be really nice against anyone who's running Dragon boards. So I can't remember if I roll here. I think I'm just looking for Idas 2-star, and there we go. So that's a little bit greedy to roll for Idas 2-star. Like, is it really necessary to spend more gold in that way? Debatable to do that as opposed to just pushing to level 9. But I did have the pair, and I was hoping I could roll down and stabilize. And fortunately, I get lucky enough to hit the third Idas. All right, so now I'm going to look to push to level 9 here. I think I'm in good shape. I think I've got my board together now with 2-star Deja, 2-star Nunu, 2-star Idas. And now we'll look to push to level 9 and try to find Yasuo. And then I can replace Leona with Yasuo. And then that's basically my board. And then I've got like one free unit that could be Bard or something random. All right, well, Leona is serving a purpose here. Little old 1-star Leona gets to hold the Determined Investor. And as long as she dies in the fight, then she's doing her job there. So down she goes, and it looks like we're going to get another perfect fight here. By the way, look at Deja. Look at how much attack speed Deja has in the backlines here. Yeah, we're going to just tear right through that team composition. As I said, I feel like my board definitely has spiked now. It's looking pretty strong. Also have 6 Yones. Now, Yone's not going to do that much. I have a Thief's Glove on Yone, but if I can 3-star Yone, then he becomes like a real unit in its own right. And I have decent odds to 3-star this unit because I do have 6 of them already. So, you know, we'll see what happens. It costs a small amount of gold to hold that unit, but it doesn't really cost that much. All right, so again, why the Jace? Well, Jace is just like a good generic frontliner. Jace has that knock-up CC. The first time Jace ults, he will knock up enemy units around him. And it's just kind of a good generic frontliner if you can't put someone into your team comp. Obviously, we're not really making use of his Shapeshifter trait, but he does provide the guild benefit. Jace's guild benefit is he gives attack damage and ability power to everyone on the team. It's not much, but it does kick in a little bit of extra. And what do I need? Remember, this is a comp that stacks up over time. I've said that like 8 different times in this video. What I need is frontline so that I can stack up these items. And I'm really close to getting the transformation. All right, I need to need a unit to die 2 more times. That was the 7th one. You get the transformation on the 8th time one of your unit dies. So this is the Xayah player. I think this is the strongest other player in the lobby because they also have a very nice board. I'm hoping that they will not hit Shyvana, but I think that they're probably going to because they're already pretty rich and going to level 9. So I'm hoping they won't find a Shyvana, but they are looking pretty strong here. Like you can see they're ahead of me economically. I'm only on 20 gold. They're on 40 gold. So they're a little bit ahead of me. They hit Xayah very, very easily. I don't know if they were lucky or what happened there, but definitely worked out for them. And yeah, now I'm just going to keep pushing towards level 9. So I won't be able to get there until probably the beginning of stage 6, but that's a pretty standard timing. And the only other thing I'm trying to do right now is I'm just trying to make sure that these assassins don't jump on Deja. This set has not been heavy on assassins. Set 7.5 has not seen a lot of assassin units, but someone is playing assassins in here. They have a Neela and a Kiana that are jumping into the back line. So I'm just trying to make sure that if I'm up against that person that Deja is not getting jumped on. So just doing a little repositioning in these fights. Instead, I'm up against a Namzi player, but this person only has Namzi 2-star. And although they do have the IE Jeweled Gauntlet combo, which is quite good on Namzi, they don't have any mana generation, which is very bad on Namzi. Namzi just takes forever to cast if you don't have mana generation, especially when Namzi's attacking a unit that has Eternal Winter on it. Namzi just, I think, only cast like twice in the fight. I think got off 2 ultimates, so... yeah, just took too long to cast. Really needed some kind of mana generation, ideally Spear of Shojin. That's like the most important item on Namzi. So next carousel here, and looky what we've got. Well, there's a Yasuo on this carousel, so I'm going to play that. I will happily take that over any of the units. Gunblade, certainly not one of Yasuo's better items, but, you know, it's okay. There's some healing there, a little bit of healing. But the main thing is just let's get Yasuo into the team composition. That is the key thing. The more experienced players are definitely like to take the more expensive units off the carousel. So I will go ahead and sell the Jace, and I will look to just play the put the Cavalier emblem on Yasuo because Cav Yasuo is really, really good. And now I'll take out the Leona, and I can put Jace back in again, or I can put Sejuani in. I was trying to think, is it better to play Jace or Sedge? And I was like, I think it's actually better to play the Sedge, just because she gives me another rank of the Cavalier trait. So now finally, after all this time, we're finally seeing why this is a Cavaliers video. I have not done that much with the Cavaliers trait up to this point in time, but we're going to be going heavier into Cavaliers here. So Cavaliers, again, I think most people are familiar with this who are watching the video, but Cavaliers, their innate benefit is they charge towards their target. And Cavaliers gain armor and magic resistance at the start of combat, and after each charge, gain 200% of the amount for 4 seconds. So more Cavaliers give more armor and magic resist, and remember, they triple that benefit whenever they cast. This fight was a little bit sad. I put the Determined Investor on 1-star Sejuani, thinking, well, of course Sedge is going to die in the fight, but nope, she actually does not die in the fight. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to replace this again at the start of the next fight. Just need one more death for that thing to transform. But anyways, I was saying Cavaliers, they get armor and magic resistance, and it gets tripled after every charge for 4 seconds. So right now I have Cavalier 3, that's 45 armor, 45 magic resistance, and then that goes up with more ranks in the trait. So Yasuo is an exceptionally good user of Cavalier Emblem because he just charges nonstop. He's constantly getting the tripled benefit. And of course, he's also a melee unit, so he's going to be in the middle of the fray, so having additional armor and MR is really good on him. And oh, look at this, I've managed to dodge the assassins. So I actually thought they're going to jump on top of Sejuani and just instantly kill Sedge. But the main thing is Deja was not jumped on by Neela and Kiana. So Deja hopefully will stay alive. Right now they're hitting the Idas. I'm just hoping Idas can hold out long enough, keep slowing them with Eternal Winter. I'm going to get Zyra ulted there, so this is going to be close. But oh, Deja clutches that out. Oh, that close. That close of a fight. Well, I would have won that if I'd had the transformation from Determined Investor into Diamond Hands. I actually got it mid-fight, but I didn't realize that I could adjust it. There it is, Diamond Hands, 200 health, 20 ability power. At twice during the fight, at 66% health and 33% health, you are invulnerable for 2 seconds. It is a magnificent tank item. So I am solo frontlining the Idas with Gargoyle Stoneplate, Eternal Winter, and Diamond Hands. This is really, really nice. I also got a big gold payout from having the Determined Investor payoff. And then I also got a Champion Duplicator. So I'm hoping I can just find another Yasuo and duplicate that. Alternately, if I could find 2 more Nunus, I would use the Champion Duplicator on Nunu for Nunu 3-star as well. These items are not amazing for me, but they're not terrible items. I can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go to level 9 and see what I can find. There's another Yasuo, so that's nice. There's another Nunu, so that gets me to 7. I only need 1 more, and I could Champion Duplicate it. But I will use this on Yasuo if I can't find anything else. So I'm going to put Edge of Night on Yasuo, and that is a pretty good Yasuo item. It allows him to drop aggression during combat. We're rolling here, and because I did not find any more Yasuos, I will use the Champion Duplicator here. Yasuo is a much more important unit to put this on. And now I've got a leftover Spark, and I have a leftover Redemption. So I can put these on other units. The Spark is probably best on Nunu. And the Redemption, it's like, I guess Jace can take this. So yeah, that works for me. So I just put a Jace back in. Jace is not core to this comp. I think I would probably prefer to replace him, in all honesty, with Hecarim, because Hecarim would give me an additional Cavalier. By the way, this was a 3-star Namzi, but we just cut right through this board like it wasn't even there. So yeah, I actually end up winning pretty easily against 3-star Namzi. 2-star, it turns out that 2-star Yasuo with Mirage 6, Duelist Dexterity, and 3 Cavalier is actually a pretty good unit. So yeah, that's a pretty good unit to be sure. And oh yeah, 2-star Sedge. Okay, we can look to play that. And now I'm just rolling here. I'm again looking for mostly for Nunu and for Yone. Now my odds to find them are not amazing because, especially Yone, because I'm level 9, so the odds to find the like a 2-cost unit, not that great at this stage of the game. But I mean, we might as well keep looking. There's probably not too much time left in this game anyway. So again, I'm trying to position here. I'm trying to make it so Deja does not get focused in these fights. And who am I up against? I think I'm up against the Ragewing player. Yeah. And by the way, look at the Shyvana in this fight. So they have found a Shyvana. They only have Shyvana 1-star, but oh, we actually killed the Shyvana before she gets her ult off. So that is quite nice. It's also a bit of a shame that this person, I think, did this person beat me the last time I hit them? I can't remember whether I lost to them or lost to one of the other boards. It does look like I'm stronger than them, but I'm concerned about them having Shyvana. Shyvana with, if they can 2-star Shyvana, then that could be trouble for me. I'm hoping I can maybe get them out of the lobby before that happens. And then my Ghost is going to win the round against the other player. So it looks like we're getting down to just a couple of players left. There is another Jace, and now I'm rolling here. And I probably should just buy the Shyvana to take the Shyvana out of the pool for this other player, because that's probably the scariest thing that they can hit. I also decided just to transition from Jace into Yasuo, or excuse me, from Jace into Hecarim, and that's because I'm playing through the Cavalier Trait. As already mentioned, this is basically just to make Yasuo stronger. I was at Cavalier 3, and Cavalier 3 is 45 armor, 45 magic resist. That went up to now Cavalier 4, which is 60 armor, 60 magic resistance. And of course, that gets tripled every time they charge for 4 seconds. So Yasuo's going to be picking up, 60 times 3, 180 armor, 180 magic resistance. So yeah, he's going to be really strong. And that's needed in this fight, because in this fight, I was not able to dodge the assassins, and Deja gets taken out instantly. But Yasuo's doing Yasuo things. He's just dashing around, charging. He is pretty unkillable with these items. He's got a healing item on the Gunblade. It's not a good healing item, but it is a healing item. Edge of Night to drop aggression. Tons of attack speed from my trait. And now we're down to just 2 players. And oh, looky what we have here. Well, this person's going to take the Zeke's, which is not a bad choice. But oh, there is a Cavalier emblem on this carousel. So 4 Cavalier, not enough. We're going 5 Cavalier here. So now I need to put this on somebody. And I actually run into a problem here. Who can I put the Cavalier emblem on? I can't put it on Sed. She's a Cavalier. I can't put it on Hecarim. He's already a Cavalier. I was like, I can't. I guess I could put it on Idis, but then I would lose Diamond Hands. I don't want to take that off. So what's the answer? I'm going to sell my leftover Yone and just, I'm just going to sell my Yone so I can put the Cavalier emblem on him. And then I have to move the Thief's Glove over to Sejuani. So that was a little bit weird, but the main thing is just to get 5 Cavalier on Yasuo. That's what I'm really looking for here. So yeah, a little bit weird, but it works out that way. Again, it would not be terrible to put this on Idis, but I really do want the Diamond Hands on Idis. That just makes this unit so tanky. This fight, though, against the Ragewing player, pretty scary, because they have hit 2-star Shyvana, and it looks like they have, wow, they have Rageblade plus Radiant Ionic Spark on that unit. Jeez, those are really strong items. They also 2-starred their Bard as well. So like this is a fully capped Ragewing board, and I was barely able to beat that one. But yeah, look at those items. Man, that is a strong unit there. Anyway, I'm up to 8 Nunu, so can I get one more Nunu? Nunu 3-star would really help a lot. And come on. Was not able to hit the Nunu 3-star. Okay, well, if we have to go to stage 7, I'll have more chances to roll and hit another Nunu. Yeah, that board is pretty capped. The only thing they're missing is Jace 2-star. Every other unit is 2-starred on that board. It is a very standard Ragewing board, but it's a strong one. So let's see if we can finish this one off. I need to win one more round. One thing that is working in my favor is Xayah has the Guild Emblem, which is actually not good for extreme late game. It means Xayah caps out a little bit lower than she would otherwise. The other big thing in my favor, no Last Whisper. There's no armor shred on this team, and that's a big deal because Cavaliers, remember, they get a ton of armor and magic resistance. There is magic resistance shred, which is why the Shyvana is the most dangerous unit here, but no armor shred. So come on, Deja, stop hitting the Bard, hit the Xayah. But it looks like Yasuo's got it anyway, so that's going to finish this one off. Yeah, if there had been a Last Whisper on Xayah instead of the Guild Emblem, I'm pretty sure that I lose that. But yeah, late game itemization does matter quite a bit. No way to shred armor. And so all those Cavaliers with all their armor and MR, Cavalier 5 is 75 armor, 75 magic resistance, and that gets tripled every time they charge. So Yasuo had like 200 armor or something like that, and that was the difference. Well, hope you enjoyed this game. Thanks once again for watching. Hope you guys are having a great week. Until then, take care, folks.